Friends, welcome to part 6 of our video presentation on chapter 9. In this short part, we'll just make some concluding remarks about the SDLC methodology and also its main advantages and disadvantages. So a few words about SDLC project team. Usually a temporary team is assembled for a specific information system project that is for developing an information system that will address a specific organizational problem, and this process of developing an information system solution is managed within this SDLC framework. Typically those project teams, they include representatives from both business side of things as well as IT side of things, meaning both business users and technical employees. Naturally those teams are led by a project manager. Usually project manager comes from IS or IT background, but it can be from the business unit as well. In fact, I think in the last few decades it becomes increasingly common for project manager to come from a non-IT background. Again, this is related to this change in thinking where people believe that technology is increasingly becoming affordable and reliable, so most of the problems that organizations face when implementing information systems are not related to technology, but they are related to business problems. What is the most important definition of success under SDLC or probably under any kind of framework? Now, the most important, the most widely used definition of success of an information system project is delivering quality system on time and within budget. And quality may mean a number of things, but typically quality means two things, or we can say that quality means two things in this context. First of all, you deliver what users want, you deliver the features that they need, and those features are reliable enough, meaning they can support operations on a daily basis. So those are some comments about SDLC project teams. Now, what are some of the important critical success factors under SDLC? In other words, what are the things that need to go right, that need to be there in order to ensure that an information system project is a success? Well, the number one most important factor is manageable project size, meaning the scope of the project under SDLC needs to be small and manageable. Okay, you cannot boil the ocean. I mean, you cannot propose an information system that will address all organizational problems. The smaller the project is, the more likely the project to succeed. Number two, accurate requirements definition. Again, you need to define what users want, and you need to be very precise about it, because you don't want to work on something that users don't need. And then number three, executive sponsorship. I already mentioned that idea. If you have somebody powerful within an organization, let's say a top executive, strongly supporting the system, then you will get the funding, you will get the people, you will overcome problems. I think this is what was missing in that Natural Spring case. I mean, CFO was the project manager, but he didn't have full unconditional support from the CEO of the company. I think if he did have, then he could use this power, this influence, to ensure to overcome user resistance, to make sure that the CEO, the Chief Operating Officer, collaborates with the team. But without executive sponsorship, without full unconditional support from the CEO, the hands of the CFO were tied. I mean, there was so much he could do to ensure success of the system. So what are some of the main advantages and disadvantages of SDLC? Well, number one, it's a highly structured systematic process, something that can be formalized, something that can be understood. It has careful controls to control the process of information system development, and that includes impact on related systems as well. It has a thorough requirements definition phase. Again, it makes sense because you need to be working on something that is needed by the user. It also has clear milestones with management sign-off. So in fact, it's like a predictable way of doing things. So, and typically managers of large organizations, especially government organizations, they like that because it gives them a high degree of control. Now, the disadvantages of SDLC approach. The approach does not account well for evolving requirements during project. Again, if you have an information system project dragging for several years, I mean, at the end of year 2, things may change drastically, where the requirements that you formulated in the definition phase are no longer relevant. It's also time-consuming. I mean, there are a lot of steps that you need to go through. There are a lot of approvals that you need to go through. So it's a very time-consuming and as a result of that, costly project. It requires top-down commitment, something that is hard at times. Once requirements are specified, top management needs to push those requirements onto everybody in the organization, and this is something that can give rise to user resistance. Although SDLC, is a waterfall, has this waterfall assumption, meaning where the information, the deliverables from one phase, they influence the information and deliverables in the other phase. In practice, sometimes, people responsible for a particular phase may be reluctant to comply with whatever was created in the previous phase. For example, technical specialists may not like what kind of requirements system analysts came up with in the definition phase. Role of system user may be narrowly defined, meaning users are kind of left alone after the requirements are defined, although there's an increasing belief that users need to participate throughout the process. And then the other disadvantage, which is an advantage here, you have fixed milestones and deadlines. Again, this is something that managers may like because they like control, they like predictability, but also this is something that a lot of IT professionals believe is not realistic. I mean, you cannot lay out deadlines for the next 3 years for a sophisticated, large-scale software development project, because if you do, those deadlines will inevitably be pushed, and sometimes when they're pushed, it creates this, unjustified belief that the project is a failure. But this is natural. I mean, this is life. Things change, problems arise. It's natural to change deadlines, to push them a little bit. But this approach, it kind of, it doesn't recognize that. It doesn't recognize that things change, that life is more complicated. And sometimes you cannot just put life into a Gantt chart. It just doesn't work that way. So those are typical disadvantages of SDLC. So this is the end of part 6 of our video presentation. Thank you for listening.